Hello fellow fans of Scream. A few days ago I had a debate over on Twitter regarding Scream 6 and the upcoming Scream 7, which has prompted me to do this video today. Since the firing of Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega's exit from the 7th movie, there's been a selection of people who happily accept that by the end of Scream 6 the Carpenter sisters story was completed, and in retrospect there's no real need for them to return in Scream 7. So I feel that now is the right time to sort of do a video about what exactly will be left open and what plot points will now be dropped following those two characters' departure from this story. I've assessed this thoroughly and have come up with 6 things that likely will have been dropped since their firing, and of course how some plot points set up in Scream 5 and 6 will now never have proper closure. Just being clear here, these aren't things that are important to the story, I guess, but they're additions to the story that were set up in these 2 movies, and some of them are quite sad that we won't get closure on. You may agree, you may not. It's all about personal importance and how these movies have been written. So without me going on with another ramble, let's just dive straight in with number 1. This absolutely is something. The story of Christina Carpenter, the mother of Sam and Tara. Now I know some may feel this isn't needed, but Scream 5 and 6 address this character like an elephant in the room. So much so, Sam even met Sydney in 5 and had some sort of apprehension towards her, due to the fact that she was a product of Billy cheating on Sydney with Christina. She is also said to have abandoned Sam and Tara in 6 following Sam telling Tara who her real dad was. All of this is something that could have played more into effect in Scream 7 with the inclusion of a parental figure. We could have been given further insight into a few things. One is the understanding of why Sam went down the path she did before the events of 5. I know they explored this in 5, but I mean more of like a physical chat about what happened. You know, what was going on in Sam's life between her and Christina? What was the personal struggle? Why did Sam feel that after she had that knowledge she couldn't turn to her mother anymore, despite the fact that her mother had raised her and had been there for her? So what actually happened there? Another is them piecing together the timeline between the time that Billy hooked up with Christina behind Sydney's back and so on. There was even unexplored potential with how she reacted and dealt with the aftermath of Billy's reveal as Ghostface in 1996. Scream does this very well. Sydney's story benefited greatly from the inclusion of Maureen Prescott's backstory in Scream 3, and I can only think it would have had a similar impact for Sam, especially in Scream 7 if this was to happen. She was originally intended to be in Scream 5 in one of the original drafts, but for some reason was cut. There was so much potential here that likely will now never be addressed on screen again. Number 2, which likely is more personal to me, but Sam and Danny's relationship had the potential to really lead somewhere in Scream 7. They spent the whole movie implicating him as a suspect, and at the very last minute he was revealed to be innocent and extremely supportive of Sam. All of that build up in the movie likely means nothing now, as we probably won't be seeing him again, which is unfortunate because this story between him and Sam was supposed to serve as the opposite of the Sydney and Derek storyline, with Danny actually helping Sam in those final moments and even gaining the respect from her sister, Tara. It's unfortunate because to spend a whole movie going back and forth between trusting a character, not trusting, to fully appreciating and then trusting him again, and then for him to never show up is such a waste of time for a movie. You know, I know that Derek had a similar thing where you went back and forth, but because he died, it kind of made you feel more sympathy towards Sydney and you understood why she went into hiding after it. Whereas Danny's not dead and we're just never going to see him again. And it seems so pointless for that movie now looking back. With number 3, I think this is more of my way of thinking as opposed to what the majority would expect, so you'll have to skip if you don't agree, but I felt like Scream 6 showed us that Sam was tempted by her own inner conflict more than she liked to let on to her friends and family. This way of thinking created guilt and separation from those closest to her. But when the time came, Tara was the one who pretty much helped Sam control it. The final shot of Scream 6 highlighted this for me. She was still staring at that mask and still had that moment of consideration, but it was Tara who snapped her back out of it once again. As long as Tara was by her side, all would be fine for Sam. But if Scream 7 somehow removed Tara from that equation, what would have happened to Sam? This was something I believe would absolutely have been explored in Scream 7. If she truly wanted to prove herself, she'd have to face this inner darkness without her sister there. This plot point will never be explored again, unfortunately, which leaves me a little underwhelmed at the climax of Scream 6. And if you don't think this is a thing, when she's in therapy at the start of the movie, the shrink pretty much tells her that she's deflecting everything onto Tara. Every time he addresses her, she talks about Tara not coping and Tara having the issue. Once again, if you remove Tara from the equation in this, where does that leave Sam? And I think that was where 7 was likely going to lead us. 4th is something that likely would have been resolved in 7 but didn't really have a conclusion in 6, despite the fact that Quinn Bailey set up the subreddit page framing Sam for the Woodsboro murders. The public didn't actually know this, so the reaction from people around campus in New York is from people who overheard the rumours and reacted to Sam. Despite Quinn admitting she did this, there's no actual proof, and it's kind of difficult to sort of prove that, you know, and all those people are still likely running with the rumour that Sam was indeed responsible. That won't just disappear overnight. So what kind of effect would this have had on Sam? Would there be a way to resolve it? There's so many questions here that simply just won't be answered, and I have a lot of questions about where things were going to lead into 7. Moving on to 5th is the likelihood of Stab being rebooted. Following Gail Weathers' latest book on Sam and the Woodsboro attacks in 2022, it seems to me a reboot of Stab was inevitably around the corner, with Gail even passing comment on how the popularity generates around true crime documentaries these days. With more attacks taking place in New York, it's almost guaranteed that somebody in the world would have tried to generate profit from the events, especially as Stab was proven successful in-world once again. A new movie reboot was inevitable once that book was released, and I think it would have been fascinating to see how a reboot would work in-universe today, as it's something that even though they touched upon in 5, I feel they could have really gone full on meta with it in Scream 7. But again, this is something that won't be explored, as I believe Spyglass will want to erase the sisters and their story from memory, so I think they're going to just go with something completely new, which is such a shame. And finally at number 6, the Meeks-Martin twins' father. I know this may not seem like an important factor for some, but it's still something that a lot of people have considered and asked, who is the dad of Chad and Mindy? These two haven't left Scream 7 officially, but I can't see them being included, as they are very much tied into the Carpenter sisters' story at this point. We've seen Martha Meeks-Martin in their lives, but there's been no mention of a father. Mindy showed subtle hints at having a fear of loss, with her concern for Chad being hurt and so on in 6. Which could be any siblings, I know, but I feel like it was made relevant in some way that could be explored if the story had returned to Woodsboro in Scream 7. Like, it could have given more context and, in my opinion, more depth to somebody like Mindy, who doesn't really have a lot to work with in these movies. But I know that Jasmine Savoy Brown is absolutely capable of handling that kind of role and storyline. Once again, these may not be important to some of you, but these are just 6 drop plot points that we will never see explored again in the franchise going forward. Maybe you disagree, maybe you think there's more I could have said, or maybe you think all of this is a huge reach. Comment below and let me know what you thought of the plot points. If you did enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate a like, especially if you got this far. Click the like button, subscribe and all the rest, and I will see you guys in the next video.